How'd the firm start?
You're going to do some editing here. This is where you edit. The history of math goes way back. So first of all, I said we're all operators. So I started my first business 35 years ago.
Okay.
It's embarrassing to say, but a long time ago, before the internet existed, and have been building companies ever since. My first partner, Mark Ackler, I met because when I was building Sure Payroll, he was the lead investor. We were the very first internet payroll company in the country. And we built a long-standing relationship out of that. And what happened was, I was running Techstars at the time. I also am on the board of the Chicagoland Entrepreneurial Center, which is the nonprofit parent of 1871, where we are here at 1871. Yep. And teaching at the time at both Kellogg and University of Chicago Booth.
Wow.
So I had this view, this perch of all this activity going on around Chicago. And so Mark and I were talking and said, wow, we could help even more entrepreneurs if we could help them with capital. And so Mark and I went out and raised our first fund, Math Fund 1, and it was all about helping companies and leveraging that perspective that we had, and that was how it initially started.
Tell me a little bit about Math.
We're an early stage venture fund, digital technologies, web and mobile. We take a little different tack than most venture funds.
Okay.
You know, most venture funds either focus on a particular vertical, like healthcare IT. I'm going to know everything about healthcare IT. I'm going to know all the players. I'm going to really, that's my specialty. And some focus on horizontal, software as a service. I'm going to know everything about the metrics for SaaS. I'm going to understand how to run a SaaS company. I'm going to just kick butt on SaaS companies. And at the end of the day, my partners and I are all operators, and we've all run businesses. And I know it's going to sound ridiculously simple when I say it out loud, but we focus on companies that have an unfair advantage in customer acquisition because we believe that if you as an entrepreneur can acquire and retain customers, we can fix anything else in your business.
Okay.
And so our primary filter is around customer acquisition. We're looking for those companies that have an unfair advantage in customer acquisition. And the unfair advantage comes in many different ways. It could be a leveraged sales model, it could be a compliance, there are regulations that require certain things, it could be relationships, it can be lots of different things. But we think about businesses as customers first, and how do you acquire those customers? And that's what we focus on. We're inside 1871, which is one of the largest incubators in the country, about 160,000 square feet. 2,000 entrepreneurs a day are working out of here. We're up on the 13th floor right now, which is kind of Venture Row. There are a bunch of venture funds right up here, which is kind of cool. It's a little quieter, a little more secluded. We've got our office space, our conference rooms, but we're just a handful of steps from downstairs where all the craziness happens.
I've never seen venture funds so close to that type of activity.
Yeah, it's really...
Most of you guys would probably have like a chain fence up to stop them from looking in the windows and wanting to talk.
No. And it's part of what the magic of 1871 is the mixture of people and organizations that we've brought together.
Okay.
So, and when I say we, that's because I've been on the board of the Chicagoland Entrepreneurial Center. That's the nonprofit that runs it. I've been on the board for 15 years. We started as just a little office trying to help entrepreneurs with making connections, introductions.
Yeah.
And it was only in 2011 that the idea came up, let's have a physical space. Started with 50,000 square feet, then expanded again, and now it's become what it is today. But the mixture is really important. So not only do we have the venture funds, but downstairs you'll see all the universities have space here, the accelerators, co-working, the offices for the companies that have gotten bigger. We have innovation centers for places like Whirlpool and Exelon up here. So we have this whole variety, and I tell people it's sort of like baking a cake. You know, everybody likes a cake that's sweet, but if you made it out of just sugar, it really wouldn't taste so good. You need the right amount of baking soda, the right amount of flour, the right amount of sugar. And when you put those ingredients together in the right mixture, you end up with a great cake. And that's really what has happened here at 1871. So this is actually a really important part of 1871 also. The chalkboard is the physical manifestation of the mentorship that goes on here. So of course you can go online and sign up for this. But if you're a member of 1871, these are all the people that you can sign up with to meet for free. People volunteer their time. So if you need help with strategy, with legal, with marketing, with finance, all of these people are volunteering their time to help the entrepreneurs. And all of this is free to members. And what it is it's the glue that keeps it together. 1871 is a nonprofit. It's not a real estate for-profit play. It's not just about real estate, it's about building community. And this is sort of that physical manifestation of the community.
That's cool.
Each of the major universities in the city has a physical place here. And they each have a conference room. Their professors of entrepreneurship and students of entrepreneurship have access. They have a key card. They come, they hang out. You know, it's a Friday evening now, so it's a little quiet. So we're probably not going to see as many students. But you'll notice that down this hall, each of the universities is represented. So this is Northwestern's conference room. This is University of Illinois' conference room. IIT, University of Chicago, they're all here. It's the only place I know where all those universities are literally shoulder to shoulder, have physical space where they're working together and they're helping each other. There's some differences to the companies that are based here than that are based on the coasts. We have a lot less employee turnover. Cost of living is less expensive. You tend to get people who are more invested in the company and the idea and really working hard towards it, as opposed to, oh, this is my gig for the next 9 to 12 months and then I'll find something better. Makes it easier to operate and build a company, I think, as well as the types of companies that are successful here. So Chicago is really good at looking at companies that generate real revenues. So Grubhub, right? They make money on every transaction. Groupon, they make money on every transaction. You know, apartments.com, cars.com, all of these companies are transactional based. Or SaaS-based. They're making money from their customers. And so there's a real business model there. I think, in my opinion, it's unlikely that the next Twitter is going to come out of Chicago, where it's build a huge audience, then monetize. And as a result, there's more focus on the business model. So when you talk about a more prudent use of capital, we talk about things like CAC to LTV ratio and what am I investing in customer acquisition and what do I expect to get back and in what time period do I expect to get it back. Those aren't conversations that were being had around the table at Facebook or at Twitter in the early days.
Do you think the reason is because it's harder to raise capital here, that people have to really get nuts and bolts to prove out?
It might be because there's less capital available, so you have to make better use of what you have. We definitely are more efficient and we have higher returns. So for the second year in a row, Chicago got ranked as the highest ROI on capital invested across the venture ecosystem. The PitchBook just put that out last week or 2 weeks ago. So you should go look it up. But 2 years in a row, Chicago has the highest ROI.
Wow.
Part of that is because the denominator's smaller.
Right.
It is a little harder to raise money, but the money we raise, we use really prudently and get a great ROI on it. So there's less cash being burned. And we have seen in some of our investments when West Coast investors come in and West Coast investors throw a lot of money at them and say, grow big fast. You know, we want you to burn through a couple $1 million a month, kind of crazy rates that that's just, I don't think you get the kind of results that you get when you're more focused on the business model, more focused on the basics, the metrics, the CAC, LTV, et cetera. So we tend to be very numbers focused, as you might imagine, as math venture partners. And so we look at that stuff really deeply, cohorts, you know, lifetime value. We're really, really focused on the metrics. So one of the things that I think sets Chicago apart too is diversity. At 1871, two things I want to point out. 30% of the members are female, which is way higher than the national average. And then that board that you saw, the chalkboard that had all the mentors, 50% female. Our mentorship base is 50% female. And that's not by accident. We work really hard at diversity and think that being able to have role models for everybody, whether that diversity is around gender, around race, religion, sexual orientation, doesn't matter. We want to welcome everybody. And so we try very purposefully to have as diverse a group as we can so that everybody has a role model. Everybody has someone they can look up to and say, wow, I want to be like that someday. As a matter of fact, when the Chicago Venture Summit last year, which is an annual event, VCs from all over the country come to Chicago to see the startups. Unbeknownst to all of us, it turned out every company that was presenting was a female CEO.
Wow.
It took a little while to figure it out, like, wait, another, and then we realized they'd filtered that way. But there was clearly enough gender diversity that you could put on an entire event and they were great companies, but they were all female CEOs. So when I think about the Chicago ecosystem and what it'll look like in the future, I don't think about what it's going to look like in 6 months or what it's even going to look like in 6 years. I think about what it's going to look like in 20 years. And it's not something that you see returns from in 6 months. It's something that you see returns from a generation from now. What foundation do we want to put down today that will make for a stronger Chicago in the future?